I pledge allegiance.
Wait.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will move on to our consensus agenda.
Hey, I can't hear anything. Okay, now I can. Kevin, you might want to turn your microphone on. Now I can.
Steve, we've moved on to the consensus agenda.
Okay, I move that we approve the consensus agenda totaling the amount of $796,503.79 plus the minutes from last meeting.
I'll second it.
It's been moved by Steve, seconded by Ken. We can't see Steve, so if you, Steve, raise your hand and they'll tell us. All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Are we doing patrons' comments as we go?
Yeah,
okay,
if you
so
want to do patrons'
if
comments,
there's any patrons' comments, you can type them in and we'll attempt to answer at the moment.
It'll be about a minute delay, so.
We're on a little bit of a delay, so we'll give a few minutes or seconds here to get it typed in.
It's 40 seconds out.
We'll give them a few more seconds to type something in, and if not, we'll go on. If we happen to get a comment after we've closed, we'll just go back. So we'll move on to personnel.
All right. I recommend the personnel agenda as presented. Obviously, 2 items on there. The resignation of Steve Linville and the retirement of Gayle Perry.
I move we approve resignation. I'll second it.
Been moved by Wes, seconded by Ken. All in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
I want to just thank Gayle Perry, obviously, for 34 years of dedicated service. I love her tenacity, her want to win, and her want to continue to make Triton as good as it can possibly be. So I want to make note of that, and I just want to thank her so much for her 34 years of dedicated service.
Moving on to other business.
All right, so I recommend the agenda, item number 5 for other business, that approves the dietitian contract through NIESC. It also approves the COVID-19 resolution compensation and empowerment of the superintendent, and that simply means gives us the ability to, if and when executive orders come up, or if we need to adapt to some of those things, much like we did with the end of the school year and continue with school lunches and those type of things, and or allowing us to continue to pay staff as needed, that we can do that, and you give permission for that. As more things come up, if they do, which seems to be changing about every 4 hours at this point in time, we will come back to you for resolutions to continue to ask for that permission. The other is the junior high English language arts curriculum contract, and I'm going to ask that we approve selecting a textbook vendor. I think it's in our best interest at this time to push pause on that, make sure that we have all the information as that becomes available, and then make a recommendation in May. And then last but not least, I would ask that we approve the Spanish curriculum quotes.
I move that we approve the items in the other business.
Second it.
It's been moved by Kevin, seconded by Ken. All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. On to superintendent's report.
All right, well, first of all, I just want to thank everybody for their patience as our new normal is doing a lot of digital communication, obviously due to this a difficult time that we're in right now, but we're going to make the best of it. We're going to continue to try to be the quiet in the storm and do our absolute best to make it productive. So continuous improvement. Triton School Corporation is taking this unfortunate circumstances to sharpen our tools and prepare our classrooms for digital learning. I want to thank Melissa LaSure, Zach Schaefer, and building level leaders who are taking responsibility for sharing the expectations of our staff over the coming month to prepare for and become better equipped to distribute high quality content virtually through Google Classroom. We must continue to prepare for the future right now when we have the opportunity to stumble and still have accessible grace. We must, just as we ask our students, be continuously learning and refining our craft in order to be relevant. As it relates to shared leadership, the old gym has been part of the shared leadership report and has been posted and discussed since July of 2019. Multiple individuals had expressed interest and there were definitely a lot of questions concerning the building, but no one turned in a proposal. So I want to thank Todd Zeiger from Indiana Landmarks, Tim Shelley, the school attorney, Mason McIntyre, our athletic director, for their help through this process of making sure our community had the time and resources to complete a proposal if they chose to do so. Unfortunately, we did not receive a proposal during this request for proposal window, so I likely will be making a recommendation for action on next month, the May board meeting in May. Social responsibility. I want to thank Margot Lemler and Jamie McIntyre and the rest of the Triton Food Service Department for their continued support of our scholars through the ongoing lunch program. Lunches are served each Monday and Thursday. If you're interested in picking up these at one of our 3 satellite locations, please be sure to complete the food service request form on the Triton School Corporation Facebook page or the Triton School Corporation website tab under the community tab at the top of the header. Accountability. Like never before, our entire community shares responsibility for our scholars and their education. I want to thank the parents for their work at home with their children as they try to make progress through virtual lessons and packets. This is definitely a new way of learning, and it will take some getting used to for all of us. I do want to thank our teachers for the good faith effort they are making to reach out to our students, ensuring they are safe, secure, and their well-being during the turbulent time. High expectations. I cannot thank our staff enough for the effort they have put forth over the last 3 weeks. Our bus drivers and transportation department have thoroughly cleaned the buses and will be driving their routes every Tuesday morning to deliver and pick up alternative learning assignments during their normal bus route times. Administrators have organized and communicated their plan to teachers, parents, and students alike to ensure a safe and orderly environment. The maintenance staff continues to clean inside the building and out while preparing for summer projects in hopes of returning to a normal routine soon. Evidence-based decision making. Information as late seems to be changing quickly, so it's been admittedly difficult to know just how to plan. I thank our building level leaders, Mr. McFarland, Mrs. Laura Baker, who continue to be flexible, student focused, and wanting to do what is best for our community and scholars. We will continue to do our best to clearly communicate schedules and plans as it relates to food service, alternative learning pickup and delivery, graduation, credits, and scheduling as the information becomes available and as the future becomes more clear. I do ask that if you have specific questions for us that you please call the Triton Administration Building, and we will do our best to get back with you quickly with the requested information. And last but not least, alignment. The common goal we all share currently is to make sure that we are trying to be the calm in the storm. That message is to our board, that message is to our teachers, that message is to our parents, to make sure that we continue to be the calm in the storm, providing hope in this difficult situation and prepare for the future as much as we possibly can while we have a little bit more time on our hands. And most importantly, making sure we are investing in our scholars as much as possible, even though it may be a little bit unconventional. So I want to thank everybody for their patience on that. And as we've mentioned, we will spend a little bit of time after the board meeting answering any questions that people have about those topics.
Okay. At this time, do we have any more patrons' comments that have typed in?
No, we've got about 100 people watching.
All right.
One says, how can we find out if our senior will graduate?
That's a good question. So the question is, how do we know if our senior will graduate? One of the items that I'll be talking here in just a second on building reports is Mr. Ross will be in contact both on Wednesday. There'll be a Zoom meeting or a Google Hangout with all of our seniors to answer some of those very important questions. I can assure you that we're having those conversations behind the scenes on exactly what that graduation will look like, and make sure that we're doing everything in our means to make that a very meaningful time for these kids that have put a lot of time and effort into this benchmark event. So we will be in communication with each individual senior on their specific standing in their graduation status. So that if there's questions in the meantime, I would ask that you reach out to us through either our email or by phone at the administration building, so we can kind of settle those nerves and calm those nerves a little bit. But that's a great question. I know there's probably about 48 other seniors that are asking the same question, so good question.
Any other questions right now? We'll come back at the end, I think, for questions. On to building reports.
All right, just due to our social or physical distancing, I should say, I've asked the building levels to give me their reports. So I am reporting out on behalf of Mrs. Cook for this session. So this is the Triton Elementary building report. Digital lessons and paper packets for those without access are posted on the Triton Elementary webpage under the Alternative Learning tab. And once again, that has been advertised. It's at the same place, and those are every Tuesday and Thursday. Those are very well laid out, and I appreciate the time and effort that has been taken to make sure those are accessible. A weekly news note is available digitally. I just posted that today on our Facebook page, and that will actually be going home going to homes tomorrow on the buses. So if you have a bus rider, we will be making that route happen tomorrow morning. If you'll be picking up items or dropping off items, assigned tasks tomorrow evening from 4 to 6, we will have a news note to make sure that you have that if your child is in the elementary school. Professional development for teachers is being held both online and in person, and that's for our board, just to let you guys know that we're continuing to get closer to making sure that digital learning is a true possibility, which obviously we've been thrust into that, and our teachers are doing an awesome job with that. Preschool kickoff was canceled. All enrollment is online for the 2021 school year. Please see Triton Elementary website under preschool. So far we have 8 applicants. We have a total number of 20 slots for that. So if you're interested in that, either reach out to Mrs. Cook at the elementary school or make sure you go online to register for that. Kindergarten Roundup has been postponed to June 3rd at 6:30 to 7:30. Once again, that's on our Facebook page. Advertised with the proper information. The office is working on submitting reimbursements to families who paid for study trips and field trips, such as the Medieval Times and Camp Amigo. Field day sponsors will be called to find out if they want a refund on their money as well. Obviously, a lot of things planned for the end of the year that are no longer happening. So we're trying to be as diligent as possible on that. We're planning to make contents of student desks available, so the elementary, that'll happen on April 28th. We just did not want all of that content on the bus the first round, so we did that in 2 waves. So the elementary gym shoes, their desk contents, and the cabinet contents will come home on April 28th or be available for pickup April 28th from 4 to 6 p.m. Office staff the office is staffed at the elementary on Mondays and Thursdays from 8 to 3 until the end of May. We're asking patrons to not come in the building right now just due to obviously many of the executive orders and mandates, and especially not to congregate. So patrons may call the office or for questions or drop off library books on those days. Melissa and Christine, so Mrs. Cook and Mrs. LaSure, met with teachers through Google Meets today, and then they'll do that again tomorrow to further discuss digital learning expectations, upcoming trainings, grading practices, attendance, and providing regular feedback to students. So that message is for our public, but also for our board, just to let everyone know that we continue to work hard to try to get those things settled down. Instead of letter grades based on percentages, grades 1 through 6 at Triton Elementary School will utilize a skills scale for the last grading period. This aligns with the IDOE, so the Indiana Department of Education guidance for grading. Assignments will be scored above level, on level, and below level. So we just ask our kids to keep working hard, finish strong, and make sure you get those assignments turned in either while the bus does its route on Tuesday morning, or once again at the elementary building for the elementary students from 4 to 6 on Tuesdays. Many thanks to the cafeteria crews, as we've kind of mentioned. We also appreciate the bus drivers for helping distribute materials and for those who volunteered to ride buses each week. So just all hands on deck. I had the opportunity to share this morning on the radio and just said, you know, you look in front of you, you look beside you, and you look behind you, and there's people there waiting to help out. So our staff has really stepped up, and I appreciate that. The Triton Junior Senior High School building report. Just a few items here. They're doing a Google Hangout with all the different grade levels. We posted that last week, so make sure your scholar gets on their email, and it will give their exact times that they're going to be doing a Google Hangout with the building level administrators. That's a great time to obviously connect with their classmates, but also ask some of those questions that they may have particular to their grade level as it relates to credits, as it relates to scheduling, and so on. We only had 20 students not get their materials on the 9th. I believe the elementary only had 16 or 18, so maybe a total of 40 students who did not get the materials last Thursday out of 930 students. So that's pretty impressive, and I want to thank the parents for doing an awesome job, and or the students that came in to get their materials and ready to go for the alternative learning plan. Counselors will be reaching out to students. They still need to talk to regarding scheduling in the coming weeks. And last but not least, Mr. Rossbo will be reaching out to each senior, as well as starting after each of the hangout that they're going to be doing on Wednesday. We'll just give them a chance to ask questions that they may have individually and make sure they are all set up for finishing strong. So a lot of information. But obviously, a lot of people working really, really hard to get that information out, connect with our students. Also, there will be a school reach call at 8 p.m. That will review some of the information that was shared as far as what tomorrow morning looks like. Once again, every Tuesday in between now and June 2nd, we will be running the bus route to pick up assignments that are completed. And then each building on those Tuesday evenings from 4 to 6 p.m., the buildings will be open for drop-off of assignments and or pick-up if there's any packets to pick up, or obviously on April 28th, the elementary will be picking up their desk contents.
All right. Any other other business? If not, we'll go back to patrons' comments for just a minute, if there's anything that's been typed in. All right. Then we will move to adjourn the school board meeting at 7:19. Thank you.